Hi there. How are you doing? I want to thank you for your support, your continued support, and also your interest in Juuga Marketing. Your support means everything for me. Since you've spoken with my colleague Deborah recently, and you've shown that you're quite interested in some of the things that we're up to, thought I would like to use a video to share what we've been doing the last 6 months, and then trying to give you some more tips about what kind of tools that we're using, and what kind of process do we have that may be of interest for you. So today my topic is going to be talking about the 3 tips to better understand your business using Google Analytics. As you know, we're always busy running our business. I love this picture just because that it has so many things going on, like the business owners taking orders, talking on the phone, worrying about the inventory, stocking the inventory. So there's a lot of things going on. So a little bit about who Juuga Marketing is. Since 2012, we've been helping business with digital marketing. As you know, like a lot of businesses, they have different departments. If you look through closely, the core value and the culture is always dead center. And you have the HR department, you have IT, you have R&D, sourcing, accounting, you have operations that keeps the business running, and then you have marketing. So what we really do focus on is we do help businesses to plan out marketing strategies that can help in the daily operations and also in how to grow their business. So in terms of marketing in today's world, there are 4 main stages that we're seeing right now. The first time when people come, they meet you in face-to-face meeting and networking meeting, or they see you on an advertisement, either on a bus, on Google Ads, or they just stumble upon your signage. Right? They are your visitors. First of all, when they're visitors, they're not really interested. They're not necessarily interested to buying your product or interested in your service. So one way to qualify them is actually to make sure that you capture their interest. Okay, so that would convert a visitor into a lead. And that kind of process is kind of a capturing with a lead magnet. So you see a lot of times when you go to a website, they ask you to submit their email address. They ask you to submit your phone number in exchange for some free information, like a white paper, like a freebie, that type of things. So even when you're a lead, you may or may not be necessarily ready to buy. And this is part of the nurturing cycle. So in order to get from a lead to a customer, there needs to be a big nurture cycle, as in letting your potential clients to understand what you do. And that often it's done through newsletter, through a video blog like now, or just through a consistent meeting with each other. And that's kind of how it starts. And then as soon as there is a right offer that comes along, the offer being that yes, it can be a sale, yes, it can be the timing. Most often, a lot of people not is the timing. So with that, they have the incentive to buy, they will become your customer. And if you do continue on this path, if you're able to impress your customers, they will become your referral, and then more business will come because of that. And that's a very general way to think about today's marketing world, especially in the days of websites. So, okay, here's the meat. Google Analytics. What exactly it is? So, if you don't know what it is, Google Analytics is a small piece of code that's being embedded on your website. So, if you see a nice website, it's all about pictures, all about text. But if you actually look beneath it, it's how computers are reading the code. And it is that piece of code that's kind of the way that Google is able to track and record all the actions that's happening on the website. And they use that, of course, to make money, to gather more information so that you get a better search result. And then but on the flip side, for businesses, they also provide great reporting with great visualization. And that's really what, in a nutshell, Google Analytics is. You're going to say, oh, okay, what does that mean for me? Good question. Why should I care? So if you start thinking about it, you spend a lot of money in marketing. You spend thousands of dollars of doing a newspaper article or a newspaper ad, or you write a blog here and there, you tweet, you go to Facebook, you send out a YouTube video. At the end of the day, right, this is what I like about this picture. At the end of the day, you're really trying to source them back to one single source, and that's your website. Right? You try to measure all these different sources of traffic and then coming back to your website, because your website is where you do your business. Whether you're working in a professional service that you would rely on people calling you, right? People want to look you up first. So it's going back to your website. Or if you operate an e-commerce store, that's very obvious. You transact the product or the service over your website. So if you start thinking about it, Google Analytics is kind of like the choke point or measuring point that you can start taking all the traffic and start measuring it to the single click. Okay, that and then that can show you what's happening in your business and measures the pulse of the business. But it's not about that. Okay, what exactly Google Analytics is about? It's really about you, your customer. So measuring and tracking your results from across different time. For example, if you run a business that has different seasonalities, how is your last quarter comparing to the quarter in the previous fiscal year, right? The second thing is that you want to learn about who they are, right? Who, as in what is the demographics, what are the interests, where they're from, what language do they speak. And you want to start thinking about what engages them, right? And that's really what's very important for you, because you need to learn about your customer and learns about what brings them to your site. You must have heard this quote before: half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is that I don't know which half. I don't know if it's the half newspaper, half ads, but that's the beauty of digital marketing, is that you know exactly what you spent. And it's really all about you, right? Like Google Analytics, it's all about you. For example, do you see a spike in the traffic after you went to a networking event? Or if you've just done a direct mail, if you're a wheelchair, you just done a direct mail in a certain neighborhood. You may not have received any calls, but do you get more feedback? Do you see more traffic from the website? Are they coming from that neighborhood, right? Google Analytics has the capability to see all that. Is your Facebook post bringing them over to the website? Like, you spend all these times on Facebook building the relationship, writing content. Is it bringing results, right? How is your marketing effort doing? And that's all good, and it seems very great that you need to know about you, but need to know about your customer, right? And it's very confusing sometimes. But don't forget one thing: Google Analytics is about measuring what's between you and your customers. So it's a tool that gives you, lets you understand your visitors, your leads, your prospect, and also helps you to provide the information to make you and your website look better. And it's because you see actual data. It's not something like a gut feeling. It's actually something that you can use your gut to start thinking a subject that you want to write, but you can test to see if that's the actual data rather than just an opinion. And that's very powerful in today's age. Think about the promotion techniques that works well. Like if Facebook is drawing enough people to your site and start converting, then double down and spend more money in there. But you don't know until you measure it, right? And you can measure it and track the result across time. So today I want to present to you 3 tips of using Google Analytics. If you have a Google Analytics account, definitely log in right now. Just press pause right now, log in, and then follow along. So tip number 1, know your audience. So if you've already played around with it before, you must know that audience is probably one of the biggest tab that they have. So understanding the audience makeup, it tells you about age, gender, location, interest, what browser they use, what mobile phone that they use, down to the brand level. It's quite useful sometimes. Again, it depends on what your business is and what you need to gather from them. If you're trying to market to people who are, say, age 15 to 30 versus people from age 50 to 65, obviously your marketing will be very different, and that your the materials on your website or on your social media is very different as well. But so think about who they are and find out which social channels will drive more traffic, and then you gotta adjust. So number one is to make sure that you know your audience. Number two is setting up your goals. Believe it or not, I've been seeing a lot of business owners, and I would say more than 80% of business owners don't set up goals or conversions on their Google Analytics. And some part of it is because they don't know how to do it. And second thing is that they don't know what a goal is. Right? So a lot of people think about, oh, a goal is to book an appointment with you. So using a contact form, but how often do you really use the contact form? So start thinking about having event goals, for example. If you have a offering for people to try, a white paper to download, a lead magnet to download. So there definitely is a goal that you can set up. If people do land on the page first, or first begin signing up to the page, as well as finally downloading it and reading that material, those are conversions. And you have to move them from funnel to a funnel in order to gauge where the lead is from. Another thing is that you can start thinking about the newsletter sign up. How many people are signing up to your newsletter? Are you measuring that? How is that comparing from a year ago? So setting up the goals allows you to have a very specific purpose that you can use to compare against. Tip number 3, user behavior. If you look down to your content, and then there's actually something called user behavior that you can see. Definitely scroll through that. I find that a lot of business owners don't know about this that exists, because from this you can actually understand how the customer would come and create a sale for you. For example, they may have come in from the homepage, but the first thing is that if you have a big button that would attract them, then they're more likely to be clicking on that first. If it's a blog page that people got searched through, or they go for Facebook and then they'll link into your blog page, your blog post, right? Do they stay around? Do they go to other places afterwards? Do you have enough call to action so that they can stay around? Right? And then understanding the behavior flow is probably is the most important thing to do out of the 3 tips. Because I just only want to do 3, I do want to give you a bonus tip, and that's to check it consistently. So I would do it to suggest do it at least once a month, just to check it, and then be a little bit active about your trend, your industry trend, and then also see if you can correlate that to your industry and correlate year to year to see if there's any growth as well. Well, it's a quick presentation, so I hope that I lit up a light bulb in you. And then I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about the jam session that I mentioned. So the jam session stands for Juuga Actionable Marketing session. So it's an audit and discovery session. So a big bulk of our action, what we do is we will go through your Google Analytics account, okay, and then we start understanding from you to start thinking about, hey, who your target audiences are, okay. If your goal is here and you're here, what's in between you, okay? So it's a 90-minute session, okay? During the meeting, what we're going to do is going to start helping you to define your target audience. You may have some audiences in mind, or you may tell me that your anybody is your ideal client. And we all know that if you've been in business long enough, that's not true. Okay, you have a certain niche, or you attract a certain client because of your work history, because of your culture, your background. It could be like that. Okay, so understand that first. Um, and then what we can do is during that time, we can also discover ways to reach these audience, and then creating some campaign ideas and suggestions that we can do. And when you get out of it, is that after the session, you can do you can understand, hey, what the current marketing state is in terms of your SEO, your analytics, your ad, and your website and your social media. So these are the 5 touch points that we can do. And I will always welcome you to bring along your marketing team. So this way you can realign the goal within your team members, and then set strategy for the next upcoming year. So jam session, because it's a 90-minute project for you and I. So what we need is you sign up, and it's $297. Okay. After you sign up on the website, juuga.com/jam. Okay, you're gonna receive a calendar link so that you can schedule a time. And what we do is we'll start sending you a worksheet. Worksheet meaning that I need you to help me understand a little bit about yourself, and then you also need to send me your website or social media or ad account, anything that can help me understand your business or your stage of marketing efforts right now. And then you can also invite your team to join at the same time, and that will be the jam session. Some of our past clients. So when you're ready to get started, give me a call or give Deborah a call, and then send me an email as well if you can. Okay, thank you.